If you want to make some extra money and create a second income but you don't know where to start, this video will give you a simple and practical roadmap. You're going to learn how to use AI to find a service that you can offer, how to use AI tools to complete the work more efficiently, how to find those potential customers, and how to turn that work into a repeatable second income. I'll also give you some practical examples of AI powered work that you can actually start with, the tools that you can use, and I'll tell you about some mistakes to avoid so you can just focus your time on those real income generating opportunities that have real value. By the end, you'll have a better understanding of what to do, what AI tools to use, and what your first steps should be to start building a second income. So before we get started, can I ask one small favor? If you like what I do here, can you please hit that subscribe button? That keeps me really energized to bring you more videos. Thank you very much. Let's get into it. You don't need to build a complicated online business to create a second income. You can actually start with something much simpler. You can go out there and find a problem, solve it for someone, get paid, and then make the process repeatable. AI can make this much easier for you by helping you research, write, analyze information, create content, and automate those repetitive tasks. But remember, AI itself isn't the business, it's just your assistant. The value really comes from the problems that you actually solve. So let's break down how you can actually do this from home to create a second income. Let's begin with step number 1, which is to find a problem that people will actually pay you to solve. Now, before choosing an AI tool or a side hustle to create that second income, start thinking about problems that businesses or individuals already actually have. For example, creating social media content or editing videos or writing emails, or even researching competitors or just managing spreadsheets, or even things like creating good presentations or just administrative work, and even things like customer support and lead generation are some good examples. Now, you don't need to be an expert in everything, just choose one area that you can actually learn and improve at. Now, if you actually go and use a tool like ChatGPT, you can use Gemini or ChatGPT to help you to research those potential opportunities. Just tell the AI, tell it what your existing skills are, what your work experience is, your general interests, and how much time you actually have available. Then just ask ChatGPT or Gemini the following thing. What problems could I solve for businesses using these skills? And which of these problems are likely to be recurring? So that's a good question you can ask the AI to give you some valuable feedback. Now, you don't want to just go to the AI and simply accept its suggestions. You want to use them as ideas to actually investigate. Your goal is to find a problem that is specific, very useful, and already has strong and proven demand. Let's now move on to step number 2, which is to turn the problem into a simple service. Now, once you've actually identified a problem or a pain point, now you want to turn it into a clear offer that you can get paid for. So don't just say, I provide AI services. That's far too broad and far too vague. Instead, you want to say something like, I'll turn your long form videos into 10 short form engaging clips with captions and social media descriptions. Now, when you do that, the customer really understands what they're actually getting and the benefits that they can actually get. You're not actually selling AI, you're selling an outcome, a result, or a transformation. And this is very important because people generally don't really care about what softwares or tools you've actually used behind the scenes. They care whether you can solve their problems and get them some good results. Let's now move on to step number 3, which is to find your first customers. Now, you don't need thousands of followers to get started. You need to find the right people who have the problem that you're actually solving. So here's what you can actually do. You can go down the freelancing route. You can go to a website or a platform like Upwork at upwork.com. Now, Upwork is very useful for finding those freelancing opportunities. This is going to help you to create that new income. Now, you want to search for the exact type of service that you actually want to offer. And then just look at what businesses are actually asking for and what they actually need. And you want to pay attention to the repeated requirements. Now, if you find that you repeatedly see people looking for video editing and content creation and research, or even just simple spreadsheet help, that's very useful evidence of strong demand. You can also just contact relevant businesses directly through Upwork, but you don't want to send generic messages. This won't work very well. You want to send a message that shows that you understand their problem and explain exactly what you can actually do to help them and how you can actually benefit them. Let's now move on to step number 4, which is to use AI to deliver the work faster. Now, once you actually have a customer, this is where AI becomes your assistant and your advantage. For example, if you're providing content services, then ChatGPT or Gemini can actually help you with the research, the ideas, the outlines, the captions, and those first drafts. If you're working with video, you've got tools such as CapCut that you can actually download for free on your mobile and your computer. And this can help with video editing and creating that short form content. Now, the key is to not let AI do everything for you. You want to use AI for the repetitive parts and help it to assist you. Then you want to use your own insights and your own judgment to actually check, to improve, and to personalize the final results for your clients. So think of the process as the following. Use AI for speed and you for the quality. That's much more valuable than simply copying whatever AI produces. Let's now move on to step number 5, which is to turn one-off work into recurring income. Now, once you've actually completed a job, just ask yourself the following question. Does this customer need this again? If the answer is yes, then you have an opportunity to actually create recurring income. So for example, one video edit is a one-off job. But 4 videos every month is an ongoing service. One social media calendar is a project, but creating one every month is recurring work. The goal is to find problems and pain points that happen repeatedly. This makes your income more predictable and means you don't have to constantly find completely new customers. Let's now move on to step number 6, which is to create your own system. Now, once you've actually done the work several times, you want to go ahead and document the process. And a really good way to do this is using an app or a platform called Notion. Now, Notion is a really good AI platform that you can use to do this. Notion is like an all-in-one organizational platform. Now, Notion can help you organize your workflow. You can actually create a simple process showing what information the customer provides, which you do first, which AI tools you use, what you check manually, what you deliver, and how you actually handle revisions. Now, what you're doing here is you're actually building a simple system instead of relying entirely on memory, and Notion is a really good place to actually do that. And once you understand the workflow, you can just look for those repetitive tasks that could potentially be automated with AI tools. And a really good way to actually automate different things is by using an app called Zapier. Now, Zapier can actually connect different applications and AI tools together and actually automate different systems so certain repetitive workflows work with each other. But you don't want to automate everything right away. First of all, you want to prove that your process actually works. Then you can actually automate those repetitive parts with tools like Notion and Zapier. Let's now move on to step number 7, which is to turn your skill into a digital product. Eventually, you may actually notice that customers keep asking for the same things. That's an opportunity for you. Maybe you're constantly creating spreadsheets. You could actually turn your best version into a simple template. Maybe you're repeatedly explaining the same process. You could actually create a simple PDF guide for that process. Maybe you're creating social media strategies. From there, you could actually create a very good and useful template pack for social media. Now, a very good option and a platform for digital products is Gumroad. So if you go to gumroad.com, Gumroad is an online platform that allows people to sell digital products. So Gumroad will actually allow creators to sell digital products such as guides, templates, and other downloadable resources. Now, the important thing is not to build a very big product right away. You want to start with something very small that has real value, that solves one specific pain point or one specific problem for one specific customer avatar or one specific customer audience. Now, you've already done the research because real customers have shown you what they actually need. So let me now give you a simple example. Just imagine that you're comfortable with AI and content creation. You go out there and find a small business that is struggling to actually create social media content for their social channels. You go and offer to create a month's worth of social media posts for that business. You use ChatGPT and Gemini to actually help with the research, the ideas, and the drafts. You can also use a platform like Canva, and you can use the free version to do this, to create those visuals and those graphics using the ready-made templates that you can use in Canva. So you can actually use ChatGPT and Gemini and Canva to actually create these social media posts. You then actually deliver the finished content to the business, and the business likes it a lot. Now from here, you offer this to the business every single month. After working with several businesses, you notice that they're all asking for fairly similar things. So you go out there and create a social media content template pack and just sell it online. You've now created 3 potential income levels. You've got a service, a recurring service, and a digital product. And it all started with solving one problem for one specific customer. So let's now talk about some common mistakes to actually avoid. So the first mistake is you don't want to chase every new AI trend out there. You want to go and pick one useful skill and become really good at actually applying that. The second mistake is you don't want to buy lots of expensive software, tools and apps before you've actually made your first sale. You want to start with the tools that you actually need and just start with the free versions. The third mistake is you don't want to assume AI generated work is automatically good and of high quality every time. You always want to check the accuracy, the quality and the originality of the AI outputs that you get. And the fourth mistake is you don't want to spend months building out a product before knowing whether people actually want it. You want to make sure that there actually is an existing demand. So you want to go out there and research the market to actually validate the problem first, to make sure there actually is an existing demand for the product that you are going to create. So let me now give you a simple action plan. So here's what you can actually do next. So starting from this week, you can just choose one skill and one type of customer. After that, you can use ChatGPT or Gemini or another AI engine to actually identify specific problems that you could actually solve. Then after that, you want to create one simple service, and you can use AI tools to do this and a couple of examples of your work. And then after that, you want to start contacting potential customers or just applying for relevant freelancing opportunities on websites and platforms like Upwork.com. And once you get your first customer, you want to improve the process, look for recurring work, and just document what you're actually doing using apps like Notion. Then when you actually understand the problem well enough and you can actually solve it really well, you want to consider turning part of your solution into a digital product, and you can use AI tools to help you do that. So creating a second income with AI isn't about finding a button that magically makes money. It's about using AI as your assistant to help you solve real problems and pain points much more efficiently. So remember the process. Go and find a problem and a pain point first. So find an existing problem first in the market, then create a useful solution to actually solve that problem that provides real value. So it solves a real problem for a specific audience. Then go out there and get your first customer. Then you can use AI tools to actually improve your workflow. Then you can turn the work into a repeatable service. Then you just need to look for ways to create something scalable. You don't need to build everything today. Just start with one simple skill like video editing or content templates, one problem and one specific customer. And that's where your second income journey can begin. Wow, that's it for this one. Now, if you're ready to stop spinning your wheels and start building your own online business and creating new income streams, take the next step now. Click the link below in the description or in the top pinned comment, where you can find some free guides and some free resources to help you get started right away with building your new digital business and new income. These free resources will teach you step by step how to actually set up and create your own digital business and new online income streams as well. So I know these free resources will be very helpful for you. So don't wait, take action today. You can go and click the link below in the description and the pinned comment and start your journey right now. And thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe to the channel for new videos. It really does energize me to create more content for you. Thank you very much indeed. And if you want to connect on social, you can find me on LinkedIn and Instagram. The links are in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a wonderful day.